Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Well, I just discovered why my last round of well pump went out on me. I'd say well pump, well, I had the water run out, and it turns out what happened was this valve looks like this normally. Well, the top of it came off. I don't know where it's at exactly, but it's not where it belongs. So I've got to see if I can fix that, or if I end up having to, because it's got this little piece on here that apparently screws on here originally and is now missing. So this thing was, even though it was sitting in the officially, technically off position like that, the face of it has blown off somewhere out here, or broken and whatever. So I got to tear through here and find it, or I won't be able to water anything without tearing that all apart. And which in the short term I will, because I need to water everything here. I won't do that today, I'll do that tomorrow. But so that explains why that was just flowing water like crazy, because the end of it came off. I'll have to deal with that. Since right now I'm only using one hose, it won't get in the way of anything, because I'll just take this hose right here and connect it to that hose right there, and this piece will come off, and I'll worry about it at a different time. Other than that, of course, my spider plants have all pretty much been recovering from the drought, including some of them that have been, quote, aerated for a while. And so I've got a whole bunch of, in other words, babies that have now been put back in there, and they're growing roots into the soil using the energy left in their tubers. Down here I've got some that are apparently surviving and rooting in, so a little at a time. Now my onions, I've picked a couple of buds off of a couple of them because of the fact that they are not supposed to be going to seed. But, well, we'll see if I get anything out of them, or they try to all go to seed and end up being a waste of time. In the meantime, over here I have a new grapefruit seedling coming in. This thing hasn't shown any good signs of good health since the last freeze, so I don't know if we've lost it or not. I have to take these out here pretty soon and put them outside. Hopefully they'll do well. Here's another grapefruit seedling. So if these avocados end up finally failing after all this... Oh no, this one's not. This one is coming back. Alright, this one is definitely coming back. Okay. Hopefully that one will too. We'll see. And of course these grapefruits here are holding their own pretty well. Over here, as far as comebacks, let me see here. This one is finally coming back. Right there. So I haven't been holding out. They're pretty rugged. This one's doing pretty well. This one, I don't see anything coming back yet. I don't know. This one finally came back the other day. That seed hasn't shown any signs of life, and that seed hasn't shown any signs of life. But I've got to come back here that's doing well. So, and that one looks pretty bad. So I don't know what I'll have and what I won't until I pull them out. One of the reasons I do need to take them out of here is because there's excessive excessive humidity. And the reason that is even though they're jungle plants, stagnant air, the mold around here is a problem. These ones here have begun to actually grow again. So they're not just coming back, they're just taking a long time coming back. But they're fairly old plants, like 15 years old. So hopefully they've got a good root system considering the fact there's nearly no soil at all. Up here we have yet another grapefruit seedling. I don't know if I put a seed in there or not, but my spindly pear is growing quite abundantly. That one Still alive, but looking pretty miserable. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. Of course, same old with my overcrowding of my aloe veras that need to be transplanted, repotted. Over here, there is yet another seedling. This one is up out of the ground. It is literally, the seed is above the soil somehow. So I should probably do something to prop that up with a little bit of, there we go, put a little moisture and stuff around the root so that it can continue to grow without risk of any kind of root shock that might terminate it. And then of course it's in its own pot right now. Again, that thing hasn't died yet, but it hasn't done anything of late, so hopefully it'll come back eventually. And all that stuff is good. This really old cactus is putting on new growth. And that one, first time in its life, is putting on babies. I'll have to put it outside here, along with a lot of others. Oh, it's not the second time it's putting on babies. But anyhow, first year. Speaking of babies, there's Mutt and Papa Bear. They're growing like weeds. The amaryllis is up there at the moment since I've moved a lot of the other plants outside already. Let me put this gate back in here. And Mom does this basically just to keep the babies from running off and getting underneath things where nobody can retrieve them if they get in a corner somewhere. Especially if they got themselves stuck, then we'd have a real problem. Alright, so let me put this out and then we will head out and show you what we're putting them out beside, of course. Let me see, as you see here, I have some of them already out here. This up here. Of course, now Snippy Snap over there, we've confirmed she's pregnant. The one that's at the far distance of the field out there. That one there, she's putting on an udder. Tomorrow, we're going to put her in the baby pen. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to move everybody out. Mr. O'Malley and the 4 big boys are going in here. These girls, any of them that are not pregnant, are going over here. And Chestnut, who is also pregnant, and Snippy Snap are going in here, and Sam is going in there. Sam being as she's probably pregnant, we're not for sure yet. And of course Goldilocks, boy, she's just a little adventurous one. And then Daisy, we're slowly getting her used to people. And Silver over there, he's getting adventurous. And then Jumpy Jeff is not quite so adventurous, but he'll come out every now and then. Here's that Goldilocks. Here's your little nosy. Yes. Yes. So that means that wherever Chestnut's hiding, there she is. There's Chestnut laying right there. She's due pretty soon. Again, like I say, she'll be going out on her. Again, we've gotten a nice amount of rain, so my bare earth is starting to green up pretty good. I've been seeing stinking groundhogs out here a lot. Mom said she saw 2 at the same time. They were probably kits, which isn't good, which means they're just reproducing down here. I don't know if that hickory nut's going to have a lot of nuts on it, but I'm sure it will. All the walnuts are doing so, but I'm not in a position to harvest walnuts and do anything with them. These grapevines are still putting on flowers, so I'm pretty hopeful that they'll make a good batch of fruit. Some kind of bugs up here, I don't know what they are, but they're not advisable to keep. Yeah, a lot of whatever it is, there's some kind of something growing under the leaf. I'll have to look into what that is, but it's all over here now. I never noticed it before because I'm usually running through here feeding or whatever, so where it is, we'll deal with it quick as we can figure out what it is. And again, a little bit more flowering here. This is a lot of flowering for this plant compared to past years. See how it's devouring the, whatever it is eating the leaves up. I need to take care of that soon. It's even putting growth under here, and it's got flowers as well. So now getting out of this plant, which it's a big plant now, it's pretty hard to get out from under it. Not that I'm trying to escape it, I put it there intentionally. But I'm just saying it's moving on to other things. Got a lot of water here because I've turned up the watering just a little bit to increase the irrigation effect. So basically, the water coming out of that bucket is going down through the field and to some extent over here. But some of this is also water coming off the roof. So that's part of my plan. Now this batch, unfortunately, is starting to rot, even though I did throw some magnesium sulfate on it. On the other hand, it's also starting to bloom. If it can get through the bloom period and set fruit, hopefully it'll be just stacked with grape. Hopefully. And this one over here, it has quite quickly transitioned into the bloom phase, and even though it did seem to start losing a couple of flowers early on, I think we've already safely gotten past the bloom phase, and I've seen positive proof there that, and it's hard to focus on them, but there are verified fruits being set now. So all through here, again, I put magnesium sulfate at the base of all of them for fungal resistance and general plant strength. I've got other things that I'll be adding to it. You hear the phaser sound? The eternal Star Trek phaser sound, as I've nicknamed it, is pretty much just the cicadas singing. Okay, over here the mountain bog gentian is still growing and looking pretty happy. Second year here. The touch-me-nots are putting on some pretty good floral displays every day for I don't know how many days. We've got yellow-eyed Susans coming up. Again, they are part of the sunflower family. But we also have, here and there, and you'll see them as I walk around and point to them, black oil sunflower. And they will be an unknown since we've never had them successfully flower and seed around here. But I'm very hopeful that they'll produce and reproduce, because sunflowers seem to do pretty good overall. I think we've got 11 or 12 different varieties of sunflower seeds. I mean sunflowers. They all have seeds if they're a flower. Again, more touch-me-nots. Anybody that doesn't know what touch-me-not means, you touch the leaf and it's almost like a Venus flytrap. It doesn't like being touched without curling up. No, that's pretty much where it got its name from. The tea rose has come up to full bloom. It came up quite quickly and quite abundantly, and it's creeping along the road there, which is just fine. Looks really nice. Makes a very good decoration. Mom put these over at the other place she had, and they grew like crazy. I don't know if I'd say the soil was better there or not. I don't know if this is a genetic deficiency or if or a nutritional problem, or if that's intentional, where I've got white tea roses. If they are genetic, I won't know it. But on the other hand, over here, we of course still got more daisies. And our first yucca flowers are up. Again, I could have harvested these to eat, but I prefer the lovely blooms. And they propagate with lots of seeds, which people, oh man, they're going to be everywhere. That's fine. That's absolutely desirable. If anything, they're super durable, long-lived plants that make a beautiful flower every year. They make a good ground cover. And if anything, I'd like to transplant them into a straight line along the border of the road, maybe, or the park area as information and opportunity arise. And I say information is I've got some other questions I need to answer first, like how much of the ground over here is garbage and how much of it I'm going to have to rebuild because of erosion, because there was an old house. Look at all the nice little mulberries. Somehow the birds haven't bothered them yet. I'll have to get over here tomorrow and maybe with Mom's help pick a few of these mulberries if the birds don't beat me to it. That's the most it's ever made, and they're the prettiest. Alright, over here, see, now that grape flower failed. It bloomed, but it rotted. Same with that one there. So, given different circumstances, different ones are succeeding and different ones are failing. So, yeah. Again, more flowers to come. More daisies coming along here, of course. And the flowering of the tame blackberry, thornless, is bearing fruit in the more literal sense of the term. It's hard to focus on with, there's a little better, let me put my hand behind it so I can get more of a focal. Yeah. So they're setting fruit, little dock setting seed fruit. One of these days I like to harvest some dock for its food value, but right now I don't have enough of it going on, and I don't know enough how to get it to grow right. If only I could get the vetch in an edible format. In other words, harvest it's an edible plant. It is part of the peas. It's just hard to harvest. Since they're so tiny, you need millions and millions and millions and billions of them to get anything. So, and they're all dispersed amongst the weeds and everything, so they're kind of hard to catch. Over here, more of the black raspberries they're just covered in them. They're doing really well. I expect they'll be ripening probably in a couple weeks at the most. So, and while they're not super flavorful, they do taste okay. They're a pleasant, mild flavor. And then, of course, the next year's stalks are coming up, and they're going to be really big because I've been fertilizing this thing, and I want them to come up and be a really good crop. Again, they'll have to be transplanted at some point. I've got places for them. I just haven't gotten situations done to put them in those places. See, some things I've got plans for I don't have a place for. Now, here I mowed, mostly because there were trees in here, and I needed to knock the trees out. No, it will not hurt the irises in you. They'll just grow new leaves. Over here, I did some cleaning up around the peach. And my goal here, I was thinking there were fewer stalks, trunks than that, but that's good. My goal here is that I needed to get air in here for this, and to make it where the lower, because what I want to do probably is direct those branches, if they'll come up and stay solid, to become the tree and take that central core trunk out now that those ground growth shoots are coming up. Those ground shoots are, and as you see, I put about 60 to 80 pounds of big old nasty caterpillar there. Yuck. I don't know where that came from, but I know I wouldn't let it live. Probably an atlas moth type moth, kind of like tobacco moth. Anyhow, so yeah, hopefully what I've done there will improve the odds of that thing living well. The soil's terrible here anyhow, and then that drop off doesn't help anything. Eventually I want to transplant it somewhere up in here, get it away from the edge of the pond so there's no chance it accidentally falls in the pond, or anybody trying to attend to it falls in the pond, or the peaches fall in the pond, or any of that. But since it's a little while before the pond gets fully dug, I've got a little time for that. And of course, as the tree gets bigger, it gets harder and harder to transplant. Okay, now, how to get over to the... It's wet in here now because of morning. I'm out a little early, and morning dew. Alright. So, of course, the Dusty Miller is coming up in here real nice. I was going to point out, I forgot to, is that... sorry. I can step in a hole. Well, the part I was wanting to point to, other than that hole, which is... I think what's happening is that in there is eroding down through here. And it's just taking the world with it. Literally, it's eroding out of that hole there, and coming as it goes, it just... The dirt's eroding out of the hillside, as I've pointed out in previous videos. Didn't mean to step in the hole, wasn't looking at where I was walking. Watching where you're going, pretty important. Well, it makes for a little more humor, I guess. That was absolutely not scripted or planned. I'm not the kind of person to do that. I'm just dumb enough to do it when I'm not thinking. Alright, lots and lots and lots of little, that too is a variety of sunflower. Alright, so the peony stage is getting into the post initiation stage, into the mid floral stage, and so still beautiful, but starting to turn brown. I know people like to deadhead them, but I like them to make seeds, so I'm not deadheading it. This is a member of the tulip family that's still, see, a lot of them are laying over looking dead. That's because they're just going into their dormancy stage. Loads and loads and loads and loads of cicadas, just all over. They're just millions and millions and millions of them. I'm not worried about them. They don't hurt anything. So, still no signs of any bean sprouts where I've thrown the beans in amongst everything. This rose is about to open up and bloom. A lot of the irises have finished, and the lilies haven't opened up yet. This rose here and that rose there are technically different roses. There's my new mulberry tree. Hopefully it'll be good. And there's a walnut tree which I'll pull out of there, because oddly enough, walnut trees grow like weeds around here. Of course, the baby's breath is in good bloom, but I mean foliage, but it's obviously done blooming for the year. I don't know if people think I should cut that back or not. I don't know much about them. See here, I've got flower blossoms coming along here that are pretty much just about to open up. And then over here, I do need to watch for snakes. And tree branches falling down. Over here, more new rose shoots coming up from the old bushes, and then where the old bushes are, there's more rose buds. Somewhere in there, there's the little sassafras tree. Hopefully it's doing alright. It was looking good last time I saw it. Alright, coming over here, the giant daylily, looking pretty good. And no, you don't have to worry about it getting squashed by the mower, because if I need the mower, I just pick it up and move it out. I don't turn it on and mow things before I move it. I won't mow the lilies. I want them to do their best. The tomato is still going along. It's got some good fat fruits under here, and then a couple up here that are starting to fill out. So I've still, that I can see instantaneously, only got 6 fruit, but that's alright for the moment. Okay, I see a 7th under there. Eventually what I want to do is as it comes up, I'm going to mound up more dirt and build it up so it's got a better rooting system. And then potentially take cuttings and propagate more plants from it since it's indeterminate. So I can just keep on keeping on with it. The hazelnuts, again, these are some kind of semi-hybrid that is not designed for good-sized fruit. It's just designed for a rugged plant. It's more of an ornamental than a food plant. But it's healthy. They are healthy. Again, you have a male and a female plant, so that's why they look different, even though they're arguably the same breed. Over here, so far, my celery plant has not died, shock and awe. As you can see, I've dug into my manure pretty deeply because, well, can't use it in the bucket unless you're planting in the bucket. And so that's what's over there, here, over there, and over here. And so I don't know if these are lady slippers or foxglove or purslane or whatever. Not purslane's a different plant. Anyhow, whatever they are, I don't know it exactly. Everybody calls them different things. I'm no expert on it. So, of course, there's a couple more rose hips in amongst all that, and then other flowers are coming up. Of course, the purple cone flowers, butterfly weed is getting along here, looking pretty nice. Still pretty early. Unfortunately, I gotta be careful. The deer will eat these for some reason, even though they supposedly, according to one group, they're members of the dog-vane milkweed plant family, which you'd think they'd want to eat them then because they'd be poisonous, but I don't know. Some people say they are, and well, again, I don't know what this pretty little plant is, but it's doing quite pleasantly at the moment. And then my potatoes, they too, in fact, they're almost done flowering that round, but they're getting along. Again, they'll be repotted in their own pots, and lots of manure and compost around them. And then we got loads and loads of our golden alfalfa. That one flower tree is just about done blooming. Now, updating what I've been up to since last Sabbath. I forgot that I moved the mower outside, so I'll have to go back in there. But, I mean, really not terribly evident, but I have cleaned around here a little better. Just a little better. One thing that happened since last Sabbath report was that the phase converter blew up, and so I've got to order. Let me see, we can zoom out. No, there we are. The phase converter exploded, so I've got capacitors lined up to order and replace that, and then I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna check the switch on the motor, and even says on here. The capacitor, you don't see any items punctured, go proceed to step 5, but yeah, I pretty much I've got to go through here, and even if they don't appear damaged, they say check the hole on top. Well, some of these, the holes on top are still intact, and yet they are dynamited. So my opinion is just remove all of them, put new in, and if any of them go somewhere, I have an actual capacitor tester in my stuff. It could be in the greenhouse, I'm not for sure. And if it is, and if it still works, I'll test the undamaged ones, and if they're still good, I'll use them for some other something. Because if they're still good, I won't, throw them away or dismantle them or, recycle them. I'll pretty much just save them for some project. Now this is a black seed oil sunflower. And again, they weren't planted this year. They were planted either last year or the year before. And they simply, some of them germinated and then failed dismally. Some of them didn't germinate then and are germinating now and are looking awesome, which makes me wonder, how do you ensure a better germination if you're dependent on them not germinating for a period of time? Now, to show you what I've finally done here, don't know that I can pull that out of there. There we go. Alright. So, I replaced this stud with a bolt, grade 8 bolt, and then I made this restraint piece right here, the angle iron that I pulled the grass through. That little piece is on with some old track loader bolts. They're grade 12 metric, with the nuts welded onto the body of the original piece here. The idea is this piece was flexing back and forth until it broke off at the stem. So I milled it out and dropped a bolt in and welded it in, but instead of trusting on that alone, I made this piece up here that prevents it from, it can't flex back and forth other than maybe a couple thousandths on there at the best, or worst if you will. And that pretty much is under dynamic load tension, so that will constantly stay under a load and not, hopefully not, break off of there anymore, because it'll be limited in how far it can flex down to. And if I could, I'd get a little bushing. I might hand make a bushing, I don't know, just to make it tighter and harder to shift around, because admittedly the hole in that piece of angle iron is metric, like 10 millimeter or something, and or I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you, because I guess it's greater than 13 millimeters, probably 14 or 15 millimeter, I'm not sure now. Whatever it is, it's greater than ½ inch, and there's a little flop in it. So here, right here, is another black oil sunflower. It's the first one I've ever seen in what you'd call full bloom, ever, and it's looking really lovely. They're all over because A, I scattered them all over, and B, the squirrels helped me. They raided my milk room where the bags were, and in fact, those might be the difference. It might be the fact that the squirrels dug a hole and buried them. Okay, our little tiny larkspur, not doing near as good as the ones out on the road, looks to be covered in aphids, and therefore is doing probably quite poorly. Covered in aphids is never a good look for any plant. And so, yeah, neither of them are doing super great because of that. I don't know what that's all about. Some kind of bug? Yeah, some kind of caterpillar and others in that plant. And then, of course, our first little, where did I just walk by it? I saw it, and there it is. Wild petunia in here, looking really healthy. Oh, there's another one over there. So the wild petunias are coming up more in the shade than in the light. Gnats in my face. That's one thing about, oh, there's another larkspur. And it's not got aphids on it yet. So yeah, expect a whole bunch of changes, like this thing's flowering real well. Now that doesn't mean it's going to set any fruit. Again, its flowers have been notorious to rot. In fact, this one's not looking good at all, and it's got more bugs on it. I got to figure out what that is and probably spray it with something. Hate to spray stuff, but sometimes it's the only real option I've got. Again, let's say be looking for a whole lot of these black oil sunflowers to be coming up. Thought I saw, yeah, there's a little bitty tiny, whatever that is, pretty little plant. Don't know what it is. Makes just a tiny little flower. No idea what it's called. I wish I had a way to catalog them all, or somebody to come out here and just catalog them all, because I'm too much of a novice at flowers. I enjoy them immensely, but I don't know what I'm looking at. And the problem is you have to be here multiple different times of the year to get multiple different flowers recorded, because as they come through their phases. We had enough rain that we had a lot of gully washing down here, but thankfully not a terrible amount of damage was done. Somebody came over here for some reason, no idea why, and unloaded a skid steer and drove it around on my property the other day. For what purpose, I do not know. When they exactly came, I do not know. They did not have my permission to be here, but they came across here. I don't know if the tracks are evident from the smashed plants, but get over here in the mud and the crud, and you can see clearly they came in here on my property with a rubber track skid steer. They even went over there for some unknown reason. And what they were doing here, or if they were sober or what, maybe they stole the thing. They came over here for whatever reason, chewed up the ground pretty much, and I can't tell, and they may have taken I don't even think they took the cedar pole, which was pretty rotten shape anyhow. There's a prettier larkspur, a couple of them. Didn't see them last time I was down here. So I don't know what the deal is, and they didn't do anything except trespass and chew up the soil and a little grass, so it's not like I could file a charge. And again, I wouldn't know who to file the charges with, because because I don't know who it was. I still have yet to finish this field. Yes, I realize that. This section of this field, I should say, since eventually the idea is to divide this into 3 separate sections. I still have some cherries on these trees. I don't know how many will make it to ripening. Haven't any idea till it happens or doesn't. This yellow dock is still growing, not very fast. I had a big old poison ivy plant in here. I chopped it off at the base. Hopefully I've killed it. I fight the poison ivy a lot, but I missed that one for a long time until suddenly last year I looked up and, oh wow, So this year I chopped it off at the base with a pickaxe. Now over here I've got pretty flowers on whatever that plant is, and whatever they are, I don't know. And then it's got what looks like a morning glory type plant or something growing off of it that I don't know what that is. Some kind of vine. Looks like it wants to have grapes on it. It's the funny part. Alright, over here I got a thistle to dig out. Some people, oh, they're medicinal. Yeah, they are. But whatever they're medicinal for, I don't think I need. So I'm going to dig it out. Somehow the maypops are still up. Don't know how or why. I'm not complaining. I guess because it's still May. Anyhow, some of them flowered, but they didn't put fruit on. Or if they did, it hasn't developed out from the flower base yet. And pretty much everything over here, well, let me get over here and point out there's some of the more than purple minty flowers there, whatever kind of mint they are. And then there's the other little mint flowers over here somewhere, and a couple red clover somewhere. Not for sure if I can find them immediately. It's the thing, sometimes I don't find them until I'm not looking for them. Oh, there's the little, again, I don't know what they're called, but they have a nice semi-oregano sage, kind of sharp biting flavor. There's some butterfly likes it. And they're around here a few places. There's another little cluster of them. You know, not enough to really harvest, so just let them grow. If there were billions of them or something, then I might say, oh, let's harvest some of these. Wouldn't harvest all of them. So the green dragons are still coming up. I don't know how late in the year they're going to go. I don't know what kind of grass that is, but it's got quite a little seed head flower on it. And our elderberries are still enduring and surviving past the deer up here so far. This one is. And then around other places, they're trying to survive past both the deer and some kind of like bug eating them. And the verbena are still holding out. They're having a tough time of it as the weather gets hotter, but they're trying their best. Then the mints are getting up. Again, they'll have that dull, nondescript, really weird little flower. Of course, the jack-in-the-pulpits are still growing, or alive. I don't say they're growing. They're probably growing all they're going to grow, but they're still active. They haven't gone dormant. So the orchids are, I haven't seen the trilliums this year though. They probably just come out a little later. I don't know exactly when they do. And then thornless honey locust, which is a good timber tree, needs to be transplanted somewhere. I know I saw some passion fruit vines here the other day, but I think the deer came through and ate them off. Yeah, that's pretty much what I can guess, is that the deer came and ate the passion fruit. Again, I don't know what this little plant is. It makes kind of an odd looking little flower. Looks like a pepper to me, but the deer keep eating them off. Deer come through here and rob me of my flowers and my fruit, and then, or at least the groundhogs come and rob me of the fruit. And then nice little green dragon there, looking pretty good. And its little flower looks to be pollinated now. Again, for those who don't know, a green dragon never produces more than one single stalk with that many leaves. That's just what they do. Pretty interesting little plant, of course. My poke that I missed harvesting this year will hopefully be good and strong for next year's harvest. Plus I'll fertilize them again, because that always makes them grow bigger, faster, and hopefully more succulent and tender. Again, since you're only harvesting the greens, the tops, there's a lot more verbena in there hiding in the shade. That's why they're doing so well, other than maybe soil richness, is there's a lot of shade. So the temperature's cooler, because they don't like hot weather. And it's when they go dormant or slow down and quit flowering anyway. So yeah, the idea is pick the greens when they're young and tender on the poke, cook them up, save them for spreading out over the year. And then over here, looks like something nipped off some of the branches here and there, but this one's got flowers on it. In the past it made monstrous amounts of fruit. Maybe this year it might, hopefully. Over here we still have the presently active burrow of the groundhog. unattended to because I'm not positioned in a way to do anything about it. Although I'm going to try to find out if I can trap them. So that's pretty much everything this week. I can't think of anything else going on at the moment. But we will hopefully be able to have more reports with more progress on things. There's another gaping hole they've dug in the ground. But hopefully we can be able to report that we've gotten rid of the groundhogs. So that's going to be it. I'm not going to film myself coming all the way back up. Of course, I get to see the butterfly at the moment. There'll be more butterflies too. Alright, well, that's it for this Sabbath. I'll see you next Sabbath.